This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, I'm Dr. Divya from TeenEinstein. So in today's class, we're going to discuss about biodiversity last part. Loss of biodiversity. So now we know what is biodiversity. So the next point what we need to learn is how we are losing that biodiversity or what is the reason for that. So we know that we are talking about loss of biodiversity. So there is no species is getting added to that biodiversity to enrich that. So we know that it is continuing. This loss of biodiversity, it is continuing. So the biological wealth of our planet, that is declining. Day by day, it is declining. That biological wealth is declining day by day. So this complete disappearance or a species extinction that will result in the loss of genetic information which is present in that. See, think about human being or think about dinosaur. It is not there on Earth now. Dinosaur is not at all there on Earth. So the genetic information present in that species, that is not there. We don't have any information about that. The complete information is losing. If one species is completely, it is getting wiped off, means that whole information we are losing. See now, through studies and all, we are collecting that information. If that species is there on Earth, means we definitely we can do more and more research work on that. We can gather so much of information. So when a species is getting wiped off, the whole information we are losing, right? So there is no species is getting added day by day, but every day it is that percentage is declining. Okay. So the natural extinction. What do you mean by natural extinction? So there are different types of this. What is the reason for declining this biodiversity? Natural extinction is there. That means due to environmental conditions or some kind of reason for declining. Natural extinction we can say. Then otherwise mass extinction. That is also one more reason. So this natural extinction means due to climatic condition or environmental condition, some species may get disappear. So this kind of species that will get adapted to some specific conditions like environmental condition or climatic condition. That's the reason it is located in one place. If it is changing from that place to another place, that cannot adjust with the conditions. So that may be one reason. So that loss of such species that is occurring in a geological past, like what we can say for that, one species it is getting or it is moving from this place to another place. So due to that environmental conditions that is not able to adjust with the environment or that particular space, then it is getting eradicated from that place. So such condition, in such condition, it may take so much of time, right? Slowly that species that will get wiped off. Such conditions will be taking more time. But mass extinction, that is a different case. And in natural extinction, you can say it is in a very slow rate. Natural extinction is, comparatively, this is a slow process. It will take time. Okay. But compared to natural extinction, here mass extinction, what you can say, it is like dying of or extermination of large number of species. That is, this may be due to some catastrophic reasons or like during that long period, like origin and then diversification of life on Earth. So there, different stages are there for this. Okay, so that is the mass extinction. See, from natural means due to natural conditions. Mass means the whole species. It is due to some specific reasons and all, it is directly going. Then next is anthropogenic extinction. See, in all terms, it's very clear. From the title itself, it's clear. So this topic, all this biodiversity topic, just like a GK portion, you can read. But the problem is, see, this kind of informations like species related informations, then how, what and all the reasons for this, and some terms are there. These things you should note down properly. Then anthropogenic extinction means that extermination of species. That may be due to human activities, directly or indirectly, that is due to human activities. Like human may destroy the habitat, otherwise over exploitation, then pollution, hunting, all these kind of things. Everything is human activities. So directly or indirectly, human activities, it is causing the extinction of species. Like what we can say, tropical Pacific island, there human colonization happened. So that resulted in the extinction of more than 2,000 species of native birds. Okay, human colonization in a particular area where tropical Pacific islands. So that when humans are coming there, see, like construction, all those things, cultivation, everything will take place. So any forest or such areas are there, means definitely they'll make it like fields or land. So they may cut trees, such situations and all will come. So like that, in which area? Tropical Pacific island, human colonization happened, and that resulted in the extinction of more than 2,000 species of native birds. Then IUCN Red List in 2004, that documents the extinction of 748 species. That 748 species. In that, 338 vertebrates, 338 species of vertebrates, then 359 invertebrates, and 87 plants were included. So in the last 500 years, these species, you think about the diversity, how diversity richness. From that, these many extinctions. Okay, around 748 species in last year, these many got extincted. Then next, see some examples of recent extinctions that include dodo bird in Mauritius, then quagga in Africa. So these are the examples for recent extinctions. Then more than 15,500 species. See, the statements like these kind of sentences you need to note down, because they will give for especially for NEET exam, this kind of statements they will give. Then, like in assertion type questions, you will get this kind of questions, this notes. So you should note down such points. Then more than 15,500 species worldwide, they are facing the threat of extinction. Worldwide, 15,500 species. They are in the threat of extinction. So 12% of all bird species, 23% of all mammal species, 32% of all amphibian species, and 31% of all gymnosperm species in the world, they are facing the threat of extinction. In the whole world, more than 15,500 species, they are facing the threat of extinction. Okay. In that, 12% of all bird species, 32% of amphibian species, then 31% of gymnosperms, 23% of all mammal species. Okay. So this anthropogenic extinction, we said about anthropogenic extinction, that is causing a sixth mass extinction. See, mass extinction around 5 times that happened. There is a mass extinction. So this anthropogenic extinction due to human-made activities, there is a chance of, or it is causing a sixth mass extinction of species. See, compared to natural extinction, this man-made or due to human activities, such species extinction is happening means it is 100 to 1000 times faster. Mass extinction is faster. So this anthropogenic extinction, that is causing sixth mass extinction, and it is faster than the natural extinction. Okay. So ecologists, all ecologists, they are giving warning because the present continuation or the present trend that is continuing like this means nearly half of all species on earth that might be wiped out within the next 100 years. Like that warning they are giving. Within next 100 years, all 50% of all species that will get wiped out. Okay. So due to human activities, there is a chance of sixth mass extinction, and it is very faster compared to natural extinction. Natural extinction may take million of years, right? It is a slow process, natural one. But mass extinction, it is very faster, and if it is due to human activities, it is very fast, and like this, it is continuing means there is a chance of losing 50% of almost all the species, and that may happen within next 100 years. Okay, and next. Loss of biodiversity. Where it will end, or what will be the result of that loss of biodiversity? So that losses, all the loss of biodiversity in a particular region, that may result in decline in plant production or productivity. See, that may result in the plant production, decline in the plant production or plant productivity. Right? So plant production will decline or productivity, that will decline. Then another point is lowered resistance to environmental perturbation like drought. See, we can't withstand, or there will be a lowered resistance for environmental perturbation like drought and all. If plants are there means, see, that will retain water, right? So such conditions we may face in future if like this biodiversity, there is a threat for biodiversity means we may face decline in plant production and the lowered resistance to environmental perturbations like drought. Okay. Then increased variability in certain ecosystem processes like plant productivity, water use, and pest and disease cycles. So increased variability of ecosystem that may that these things and all that variability in certain ecosystem that will result in the or that may affect water use, then pest and disease cycle, then productivity. So these are the results of loss of biodiversity. So finally, this loss of biodiversity that will create all bad effects, right? There is no positive point in this. It will create negative effects for us. Okay. Next, we need to know the causes of biodiversity losses. So why? What is the reason for such biodiversity? So you know that world is facing more rates of this species extinction, or it is getting increased day by day. So it is accelerated in unimaginable way. It is getting accelerated. So such species extinction, it is due to mainly it is due to human activities, right? So there are four main causes or reasons for this biodiversity losses. That is called as the evil quadrant. Okay. These are the four main reasons here, whatever we have mentioned. So here, first one is habitat loss and fragmentation, then overexploitation, alien species invasions, then co-extinction. These are the four main causes of biodiversity losses. So let's discuss one by one. Here first, we'll see what is this habitat loss and fragmentation. See, this is the most important cause which is leading this animal and plant extinction. So what is that? What do you mean by this habitat loss and fragmentation? See, when some people are cutting the trees or they are filling a wetland or they are plowing a land, the natural habitat, it is changing or it is getting destroyed. The natural habitat of a particular species is getting destroyed. So these changes that can those changes which is made through these activities that can kill, that may be the reason for the death of several plants, animals, microorganism and all. And the particular plant species, see, there will be an interaction in an environment. All organism will be having a mutual interaction. So that is also getting destroyed through this kind of activities. So for an example, we can say that in tropical rainforest, that habitat loss. See, this forest once that occupied 14% of Earth's land area, forest. Okay, but later it was covering 14% earlier. Then today we can say only 6% of land area is there, like that. This forest, it is covering only 6% today. Okay, that is a change. So by that time, see, you can imagine how many species or how many organisms or how many groups of organisms got extincted or they got wiped out. Right? They are losing their habitat. They don't have any place to stay. So even at this moment also, the same thing is happening. So many species, they are getting extincted due to this deforestation and all. Okay, then Amazon rainforest, you know that Amazon rainforest, that is called as lungs of the planet. Why? That is called as Amazon rainforest is called as lungs of the planet because here also so many species got extincted because the land area which is there as the forest that for cultivating soya bean and all, this land area they cut the trees and they cleared for soya bean cultivation. Okay, and they converted that to field areas. So this kind of activities, human-made activities, it is making or it is becoming the reason for habitat loss. Then, not only this, pollution, that is also another threat. Pollution is also becoming a reason for this. Like some sensitive species will be there. Some species, they'll be sensitive to these pollutants like pesticides, because that may create or that will be creating some bad effects to such animals or plants which is living in that habitat. Then you know that lead poisoning, that is another major cause that led to the death of many species like duck, swan, crane and all. So these and all pesticides, usage of pesticides, other chemicals, this fertilizers, everything is causing the death of different kind of species. Then large habitats, they are broken into very small fragments in the habitat fragmentation. Large habitats, they are broken into small fragments. So that in habitat fragmentation that is happening. So due to that, due to human activities and human settlements, then building of these roads, canals, then due to such reasons that big habitat is becoming into small fragments. So the interaction between those organisms or species, it is getting spoiled. So due to such activities, biodiversity losses are happening. So these are the reasons. So habitat loss and fragmentation, that is one reason for loss of biodiversity. Okay. Next is overexploitation. We are moving to the second one. So these are the points which should come under habitat loss. Due to human activities, then over usage of chemicals, fertilizers and all, then fragmentation of habitat. So these such reasons you should point out in habitat loss and fragmentation. Next is overexploitation. So mainly human beings, they are depending upon they are mainly depending on nature for water and all, for shelter, food, everything. They are depending on habitat. So they will start over exploitation of these natural resources, right? That means up to a level we can exploit, and if it is crossing that level or a limit, that means the over exploitation beyond the degree. Beyond that degree, we cannot renew that. Beyond the degree of that renewability, if you are misusing or over exploiting, means it is very difficult. So the over exploitation of a particular species, that will reduce the population size, or that may lead to extinction also. Okay. So overexploitation is another reason. Next is alien species invasions. So what do you mean by alien species? A new species, when a new species is entering into a geographical area or a geographical region, that is also called as non-native species. Okay, alien species or otherwise it is called as non-native species, or we can call it as exotic species. A new species, it is entering into a particular geographic area. So when that alien species is getting introduced, for that may be for a purpose or without any intention also, when it is getting introduced, that may cause the disappearance of some native species. Whichever is present already in that geographical area, that may disappear because they are losing that biotic interaction. Okay, this new species which one has entered into that geographical area, that may not be able to adjust the species which is existing, which is already present or which is existing there. One species, see, suppose here this species is there, some animal X, Y, Z, whatever may be. One new alien species, new species is entering into this geographical area. These two species are not able to interact in a adjusting way, or it is not able to, in the presence of this alien species, one particular species which is already present there, that is not able to survive in that area. That may create problem, and that may lead to the extinction of the native species. Okay, like we can say that carrot grass or parthenium, it is a weed which came into India as a contaminant with the imported wheat. So it came with imported wheat. See, that is not intentionally introduced. There is no intention. That is unintentionally introduced. Okay, this, if we are introducing one species for a specific purpose, we can say it as intentional. This is unintentional. So parthenium, it is a weed. Okay, so that occupied all open areas, and that resulted in the termination of many herbs. Many herbs, shrubs, everything got affected due to the carrot grass or parthenium. Then water hyacinth or Iconia, we can call water hyacinth, that was introduced by Europeans. They only introduced that to India. So that resulted in the death of several aquatic species. Okay, several aquatic species including plants and animals. So this water hyacinth that caused the death of several aquatic organisms. Then next, now we said about habitat loss and fragmentation, then overexploitation, alien species invasion, and last one is co-extinctions. See, we know that there is a obligate association, we can say, among different species, right? If any one, two species are there, they have one close association. If one is becoming extinct, the plant or the animal which is associated with it, that also will be in trouble, and that also will become extinct. Okay. So such co-extinctions that may also cause loss of biodiversity. So there are mainly 4 reasons. One is habitat loss and fragmentation, then overexploitation, then alien species invasion, then co-extinctions. Each one with the example you need to study. Then susceptibility to extinction. See, some species which are more susceptible to this extinction, they'll be having some characters, like they'll be having large body size. That may be one reason. Like rhinoceros, like lion and all, they'll be having large body size. Or otherwise, they may be having small population size. Population size may be small. Okay. Or reproductivity. Reproductive rate may be reproduction that may be low. Okay, like blue whale and all, that reproductive rate may be very low. Or that may be in higher trophic level in food chain. In food chain, in higher trophic level. Or they'll be from a fixed habitat. If it is changing, that may cause the death or extinction of such particular species. Okay, so these are the susceptibility to extinction, means they'll be having such particular characters. Okay, so next is about red data books. Sorry, red data book. So what is this red data book? What is red data book? That's the question. Okay. IUCN. What is IUCN? International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. IUCN. International Union for Conservation of IUCN. International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. That is IUCN. So this IUCN, that is now it is called as World Conservation Union. Okay, World Conservation Union. That maintains this red data book or the red list. We can call it as red list or red data book. See, this is the catalog of threatened plants and animals which is facing the risk of extinction. What is red data book? The catalog of threatened animals and plants. These animals and plants which are facing the risk of extinction. So that catalog or that list, it is called as red data book or red list. Got it? See, threatened species in the sense we can say threatened species of T. We'll mention it is T, threatened species. See, threatened species means there is a chance or they are becoming very less in number or that is going to become extinct if we are not providing the proper habitat and food or care or protection. So that is called as threatened species. If we are not providing proper care, species is going to extinct. So such species are called as threatened species. Then this red list that is having 8 categories. Okay, red list is having 8 categories. like extinct, then extinct in the wild, critically endangered, endangered, vulnerable, lower risk, data deficient, then not evaluated. Like that, 8 categories are there. No need to study that in detail, but still I'm explaining you. Extinct means no individual from that particular species is present. Like a particular taxon is extinct. That means there is no doubt that the last individual also has died. There is no individual from that particular species on earth. That is called as extinct. Then extinct in the wild means that failed to record. See, a taxon which is extinct in the wild means in their survey, it is not like they have failed to record an individual. In extinct means that no doubt it's not there on earth. Next is they are failed to record. Then critically endangered means what we can say in that critically endangered. That means extremely high risk of extinction that group is facing. High risk of extinction. They may be like in immediate future it is going to face the risk of extinction. That is in the extreme level. Then another one is endangered. When it is facing high risk of extinction. High risk, very high risk of extinction in the near future. The other one is immediate. This is near future. Slowly it will get extincted. That is called as endangered. Then vulnerable. Vulnerable means it's not that much not in that much dangerous situation, like critically endangered or endangered, but it is facing that high risk of extinction, but that is not, it will not create an immediate effect. Slow process, like medium term future, not near future. Then lower risk. Lower risk means which is a taxon which is present presently it is in a very lower risk. Okay, that can sustain, that can adjust, manage the situations. Then data deficient means there is no adequate or proper information to make that in which category it belongs to. There is no proper information about that. Not evaluated means a taxon, a particular group which is not at all evaluated, which is not assigned or which is not assessed in any of the groups. Okay, one is due to loss or non-availability of data. We don't have a proper information. But another one, not evaluated, means that group, it is not belonging to any of the groups at present. Okay, so these are the 8 groups in Red Data Book. Next is about biodiversity conservation, or why we should conserve biodiversity. See, we said due to several reasons. Now we are saying several factors like pollution, then overexploitation, climate change, all these are the reason for loss of biodiversity. So like most people, they are trying to understand, or they are beginning to understand this diversity at all levels of like genetic diversity, species diversity and ecological. These are the important levels which should be conserved. Okay. And why we should conserve biodiversity? Like many reasons are there. What are all the reasons? Conservation of biodiversity is very important because there are many reasons. Like first one is we are depending upon this biodiversity in several ways. So that these reasons that we can group in three ways, like narrowly utilitarian. Here we can say in these groups, narrowly utilitarian, then broadly utilitarian, then ethical. Okay, narrowly utilitarian means what? Direct or economic uses. See, we are taking direct benefits from nature. Directly we are getting so many benefits like food, then fiber, then construction material, then drugs. All such kind of benefits we are directly taking from nature, right? In the case of drugs or medicines, more than 25% of the drugs which we are currently sold in market, that is derived from nature. Means around 120 species of plants. Okay, and traditional medicines which we are using, see there are around 25,000 species of plants which is contributing towards the traditional medicines. Okay, like morphine which is used as analgesic, that is from the Papaver somniferum, from that plant. Then quinine which is used as an anti-malarial drug, that is from the bark of cinchona. Okay, then another one is reserpine, that is from the roots of Rolfia serpena, that is used against high blood pressure, then painful bowels, and for that and all we are using reserpine, that is from the roots of Rolfia. So there are many plants which is contributing towards the drugs which is currently used. Then bioprocessing, like molecular level exposure, then genetic diversity. So such things and all, that bioprospecting. So such research works, so many research works are going on in the medicinal field and in genetical field and the species diversity, then economic importance. In all these, we are conducting researches. Okay. So in one or the other way, we are depending upon this biodiversity. Next is broadly utilitarian. What is that broadly utilitarian? That means, biodiversity is playing a very important or major role in ecosystem services. Means what? The nature is providing like oxygen, pollination, aesthetic pleasure, then food, then erosion control, oxygen. From where we are getting that? Plants are helping for that, right? See, Amazon rainforest, we said, that is producing around 20% of oxygen. Then pollination. In pollination, organisms, so many insects, birds, all these are involved in pollination. If that is not pollinating, imagine so many fruits we won't get, so many seeds we won't get, flowers we won't get. So everywhere we are replacing, this activity is done by human beings, means it won't work out, right? A honeybee, it is pollinating several flowers. At the same time, you think about a human being is doing that activity. Is it possible? See, one bee that will sit on one flower and After collecting that honey, it will go to another one. So there, pollination is happening. So imagine there we are replacing that honey or honeybees. We are replacing those insects with human beings. It will work out. Is it possible? No, we can't imagine such situations. So indirectly, such pollination and all, it is done by insects, right? Then flood and erosion. You know, plant roots, they are holding the soil particles and that is preventing the soil erosion. Okay, and this plant, they are increasing the porosity of soil and they are allowing water to percolate down into the soil. So there are several points like this. Next is ethical. So narrowly utilitarian, broadly utilitarian, these are in broad aspects we can see. This in drug production and all, narrowly utilitarian, under that drug production and all will come. Then broadly utilitarian means here for food, then drugs and all we are depending. Here like for oxygen, then pollination, then soil erosion. Okay, here ethical means like million of plants, animals, birds, microbes, everything. Everything is sharing these planets, right? So we can't say that this organism like microbes are they are waste organisms, they are useless organism. So we can't say like that. See, every organism it is having its own role or it is having its own value. See, that may not be in a direct way. Indirectly, that may be helping us. So that is coming under the ethical. So for future generation or for any future work, these things will be helpful. So that point you should mention under ethical. Okay. Then how to conserve this biodiversity? That is another point. There is two basic strategies for biodiversity conservation. One is in situ conservation and another one is ex situ conservation. So in situ conservation, protecting the whole ecosystem. Okay, in situ and ex situ. In this, protecting the whole ecosystem. Means biodiversity in all level we are protecting the biodiversity. That means they can save the entire forest to serve a tiger species or something. They can save the entire forest in that way. Okay, but many countries they have their own limitations like that economically it is not feasible to conserve all the biological wealth. Still they are trying. So on global basis, this problem has to be addressed. Okay, so in situ conservation strategies, there are two types like hotspots and protected areas. So under this, hotspots and protected areas. Okay, so hotspot means they are the richest and most threatened reservoirs of plants and animals. Okay, hotspot, that is the richest place and the threatened reservoirs of many species. See how we will fix a hotspot. Either it may be very high level of species, it will be having very high level of species richness, or high degree of endemic species will be there, or degree of threat that will be more, like habitat loss or something like that. So based on that, we will fix the hotspot. Okay, like Western Ghats and Sri Lanka and Indo-Burma and Himalaya. So these are the main hotspots in India: Western Ghats and Sri Lanka. Then Himalayan regions. Then Indo-Burman regions. These are the hotspots of India. Then next is protected areas, like areas or land areas or sea areas, which may be, or we need to protect these areas and we need to maintain the biological diversity. Okay, like through legal procedures and they'll be protecting these areas, like national park, sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, that and all coming under which one? Protected areas, national parks, then sanctuaries. These and all coming under protected areas. Okay. Then sacred groves and all. We have learned about such things and also that and all coming under protected areas. Next is about ex situ conservation. In ex situ conservation, threatened animals and plants, they are taken out of that natural habitat and they'll be placed in special settings and they'll be protected and they'll be given special care. See, if there is an animal or plant which is having or the endangered or threatened species or such animals are there, they need urgent care, then that will be taken from that place and they'll be protected in special places, like in the case of plants like botanical garden, then animals means zoological parks, then aquaria in the case of aquatic organisms. So like that, they'll be moved out of their habitat and they'll be protected in special areas. Okay. So these are the methods to conserve biodiversity: in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. Okay. So that's all we need to discuss about biodiversity. So in this, you should understand the concept in a clear way and study each thing with the help of example. Then it will be easy. Got it? So that's all about this chapter, biodiversity. I hope it's clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. So go through this portion. Thank you.